the most beautiful spots in Australia. We came 60 kilometres west of Sydney to the town of Katoomba, here in the heart of the Blue Mountains, with all those magnificent peaks, valleys, rivers and gorges.
So we've really come from one city to another. It doesn't look a lot like it, but it really is the city of Blue Mountains, actually a scattered collection of 24 towns.
We're heading off on the Scenic Skyway now, and this has been here operating in Katoomba for 25 years. It's an amazing thing. It goes right across the valley, 350 metres to the other side. At the centre of the valley, we are actually suspended 275 metres above the trees below, and we can look over and see straight down. But it's pretty strong. It's held up by a wire cable. It's about 2 centimetres wide, and it has a braking strain of 160 tonnes, which is certainly much greater than any weight that we're going to put on that wire.
Why the Blue Mountains? Well, obviously, because they're coloured blue. Or rather, the light is coloured blue. They're lit naturally enough from sunlight, which is white. But sunlight's composed of all the colours, and some things can split them out. Raindrops split them out into a rainbow. Well, here it's particles of dust and droplets of water, and surprisingly many droplets of eucalyptus oil from the trees that split the blue out of the white light and give that terrific blue haze that you see between us and the distant hills.
Over there is one of the most interesting features of the whole Blue Mountain area, and that's the Three Sisters, 3 rocks jutting up in the air. The Aboriginal legend that explains the formation of that is a fascinating one. There was a witch doctor called Taiwan, and he had 3 beautiful daughters. They all lived as a happy family in this area with just one enemy, the evil bunyip. One day the girls were walking out through the mountains. They went out onto a ledge and the bunyip chased them. They had nowhere to go, so they threw a rock at him. That caused part of the ledge to break away. Taiwan, the witch doctor, was watching from below, and he pointed his magic bone at the girls and changed them into rock. He was going to come back and change them back into their real selves later on, when he disposed of the bunyip. But the bunyip chased him, and he had to turn himself into a lyrebird. He dropped the magic bone, and he's still looking at it, looking for it to this day. And they're turned into rock forevermore.
And that was one explanation, but there are others. It's hard to believe, but all this used to be under the sea, and things settled to the seabed. Sand to become sandstone, mud to become shale, and in the nearby swamps, the plants turned eventually into coal. Of course, they took millions of years to do it. In all of that time, the seabed was thrust up to where it is now by enormous forces in the Earth's crust. And they produced cracks and other changes, but mainly it was rain pouring on these mountains and running down as rivers that cut these enormous chasms and valleys that we see.
Well, we've reached the other side and we're turning around to go back. You know, in the early days of European settlement here in New South Wales, the colony was wedged between the sea and the Blue Mountains. And then on the 11th of May in 1813, Gregory Blaxland, William Wentworth and William Lawson set out to see if they could cross the Blue Mountains. Others had tried and failed, so they set off with servants, horses and dogs, trekking across the mountains. The technique they used was to explore the track each day, to come back to camp, and then the next day to clear that track, come back to camp, and on the 3rd day they would actually shift camp. They did that every day for 14 days, and do you know what? They reached the other side, and by doing that, they actually changed the whole way in which the colony of New South Wales developed.